few announcements coming up later this morning. We're going to finally hear the governor's plan for Oregon businesses to reopen today at 11 a.m. That's when she's going to go into detail about what restaurants and offices will have to do to reopen, what's going to be allowed and what's still closed in our parks and trails, and what has to happen health-wise for all of this to even start. So you can watch it live right here on KGW at 11. We will also be streaming it online then, and then check back later. We'll have a full analysis. First, though, a new unemployment report comes out in just about 30 minutes, and the Labor Department releases this every Thursday. In the last 6 weeks, we have seen 30 million Americans apply for unemployment. And remember, those are just the people who've gotten through to the system. We are expecting high numbers again this week. Just yesterday, the management services company ADP reported that private payrolls dropped more than 20 million jobs just in April. Portland Public Schools announced it is shortening its work week and furloughing employees 1 day a week to cut costs. That's a day off without pay. The Monday to Thursday work week will save the district 20%. The daily meal service for students now won't happen on Fridays, but enough food will go out on Thursday's distribution to last the weekend. The district's unions supported this 1 day a week furlough because now they'll be able to apply for some unemployment and the extra $600 a week boost from the Federal CARES Act. That news is upsetting some parents and critics who say teachers are now teaching less and making more money than others who solely have to rely on unemployment. For almost 2 months, kids have been learning at home, and we know it's been a big challenge. Today, in a KGW Q&A webcast, you can get some expert advice from learning specialists. Our host, Galen Etlin, explores the do's of distance learning. That's at noon on KGW.com or any of our social pages. Meantime, DoorDash has been helping bring meals to Portland students since schools closed. Most students are picking up their meals, but that's not always an option because of health or transportation. So DoorDash has been stepping in to help. It's been delivering 450 meals a day for the past month.
For those particular families, it's not as easy to access. And so this DoorDash partnership was really birthed out of a need, us wanting to tell our community, hey, we see you and we know that you're out there.
DoorDash will continue to donate its services through the end of the school year. It's something it's doing across the country. Well, Multnomah County Health is pushing back against new data from state officials that now breaks down the virus cases by your zip code. And they say knowing where people caught the virus is more important than knowing where they live. And they say some of these hard-hit zip codes are home to large minority populations, which could lead to discrimination.
Because I do think the tendency for folks is to look at something like zip code data and then make inferences about what that means, who lives there, what their risk is. Definitely want to make sure that it's not used in a way that would end up with somebody not getting the groceries that they need to have delivered, or that people don't want to be in that zip code.
State health officials say they released this data to be transparent about the spread of the virus. The Portland area zip code with the most cases is 97236. It's in far southeast Portland, and that is where the Foster Creek Nursing Home is. It's had a large outbreak with more than 100 positive cases of their patients and 28 deaths. Across the country, a shortage of personal protective equipment has had doctors and nurses afraid for their safety. But soon, these unassuming shipping containers will be helping hospitals across Oregon reuse their PPE safely. Mike Benner shows us how they work.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared.
Testimonials like that have become all too common since the coronavirus started spreading across the globe. Healthcare workers are deathly afraid of running out of those protective N95 masks. Well, guess what? Help is on the way.
The goal that the federal government has committed to is providing at least one for each state.
Andrew Phelps is the director of the Oregon Office of Emergency Management. He says in just a matter of days on the U of O campus in Eugene, a system will be in place to decontaminate N95 masks. And we're talking a lot of masks.
We expect to be able to remove about 80 to 85,000 of these masks through a day. So it's a pretty large number, especially since this is going to be a 7-day-a-week operation.
You're probably asking yourself, how does this work? Well, the system is made up of more than a half dozen shipping containers. The N95 masks are placed inside, and a hydrogen peroxide vapor is pumped through, killing any and all germs on the masks.
We can decontaminate them up to 20 times, so you get quite a few uses out of these masks, which is important given how limited our supply is of these N95s.
This decontamination system was dreamed up by a couple in Ohio. The wife, who's a family doctor, was concerned about a mask shortage at her hospital, and she mentioned it to her husband. He works at Battelle, a nonprofit research institute that tests for dangerous pathogens. He recalled an old study that showed masks could be cleaned and reused. The couple started drawing schematics. Testing followed, then came approval from the FDA.
I still don't think it's fully sunk in yet. It's overwhelming to think that it started with an after-dinner conversation, drawing it out on a piece of paper and seeing if it was even feasible.
And feasible it was. These decontamination units are firing up in states across the country, including Washington and here in Oregon. As Andrew Phelps points out, this aligns with Governor Kate Brown's reopening plan.
Having the system to decontaminate masks and make more masks available for a longer period is really an important piece of that reopening strategy.
Of course, this will not be cheap. We can tell you that the federal government is footing the bill, as well as handling the logistics involved in moving these N95 masks between the decontamination unit in Eugene and hospitals and healthcare facilities across Oregon. I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
Well, there is a small step towards something many of us can't wait to see again. The Portland Trail Blazers playing at the Moda Center. Starting tomorrow, the NBA will allow teams, including the Blazers, to reopen their practice facilities. Now, we don't know what this means for the rest of their season or the NBA playoffs in general, but there are going to be a lot of restrictions at practice, so here are just a few of them. Only 4 players can be in the building at once, and only 1 can shoot at each basket at a time. They'll also have to have their temperatures taken, and anybody rebounding for them has to wear gloves and a mask. It is National Nurses Week, and we have been sharing your messages. First up, we have a shout out to Jessica Chan at Providence, Portland. Thank you for all you do. I love that, donned in all her PPE. Next up is Julie Talty. She's a nurse at St. Vincent's Hospital. Her friend says not only a nurse, but a wonderful mother. This is a great time to give nurses some extra love. So send us your photos and messages. You can use the hashtag KGW Sunrise or text us at the number on your screen. You can send us photos and a little message, 503-226-5088. We will be sharing your shout outs all week long here on Sunrise.